Hi everyone, just wanted to give a little tour. It's been a little bit, so as you can see, things have grown a lot. I'm going to try and be quick, quicker than usual, but we'll see. So we've got gooseberries. There's one I'll show you later that actually has some ripe fruit on it. This one's not ripe yet. These raspberries are at the peak of the season. We're getting 1 to 2 pints a day. Very tasty, still a lot of them on there. So very happy with the raspberries this year. Some of the elderberries, have just finished blooming. As you can see, the little, I don't know if you're gonna see it on the camera. Yeah, you can see the green orbs there. That's the baby fruit coming. Honeyberries, didn't get much off of them this year. We'll see. We'll give them a couple more years to come in and then see what we think of them. I love this calendula. I'm just letting it go wild here. So pretty, and it's too shady here to grow most vegetables. And then we're getting some rudbeckia just starting to bloom here. We've got a couple different varieties. This coneflower all of a sudden is super happy this year. That's nice to see. It took a while. These bush cherries, that whole thing was covered in flowers. Nothing. I'm gonna give them again a couple more years, then they're out of here. This is Lorelei's garden, so she's got some rudbeckia just starting to bloom. Her petunias are looking real happy. Cosmo. This bed, not really sure what I'm gonna do with it this year. I was gonna do summer lettuce. Well, we've got so much lettuce, and usually this time of year I get kind of sick of salads already. So we'll see. Then let's see, over here we got oregano. We were getting some plant damage from a 4-line plant bug on this and on the mint. That seems to be gone, so maybe it's just a seasonal thing. This has already been cut once, looking ready to be cut again soon. Peppers behind here, they're slow to establish, but looking happy. This cherry tomato is just going crazy. I'll have to decide how wild I want it to get. Trouble with doing more aggressive pruning, where you train it to 1 or 2 liters, I've just got these more standard wire cages, so the 1 or 2 liter pruning that they do commercial is all intended to be trained up a wire, and then the plant ends up being 15-20 feet long as they lower the wires down. So I might try building a taller, take 4x4 field fencing and wrap it this same diameter, but then it's 6 feet tall. I might try doing that next year. I don't know, we'll see. But lots of nice green tomatoes getting set already. These peppers, looking nice. Peas have done pretty well. Again, peas are something that we kind of get sick of just about when they stop producing, which is good. But they've done pretty well this year. This trellis system, I think what I'm going to do in the future is only plant a really thick row right up against the trellis instead of doing rows out here, and then these need to really kind of fall over. So I've already, just yesterday, I seeded in some green beans up here in the front. So what I'll probably do is a trellis of this, maybe even that trellis there, at least some of it in peas, but then the beans right away in the front, and just figure out whether that staggering works or not. These beds here, very disappointing. Doesn't look like we'll get much of anything off of them. I think this big honey locust, which comes all the way out now to pretty much the edge of this bed, the drip line's right about there. I think we're just getting too much shade and root competition from it. So I may dig up some perennials and just kind of sprinkle them in there and turn those into an ornamental bed. This broccoli has been growing pretty well, but I had to take the heads already, except for that one there, because they were bolting. If you watch the flower buds, once you start to see them getting thick and ready to open, you got to take the head, even if it's most of them are only about yay big, but otherwise you're going to waste it. This parsley I planted that I thought never germinated, some of it finally just started to come up. These melons are doing nice. We'll see. First time ever getting this far into the season. My sister, I gave her some last year, and she got them to grow in her garden, but all of mine died by a slug by the time they were about, 2 true leaves on them. Then we've got second succession of cucumbers coming up. I'll thin that down. Basil, already cut once, getting ready to be cut again. Just gotta figure out the best way to air dry it. I tried air drying it. I may, after talking to an herbalist, I may try doing it in the dehydrator, or I may try the method where you pulse it in a food processor with oil and then freeze it in ice cubes. Try that. So we'll see. Some more basil that was extra. That's not nearly as happy, but there's not as much fertility in these front boxes. I had to side dress these peppers. They were looking real sad. I had some half-finished compost that apparently was finished enough. I lost one there, but they're looking much happier. This heat, obviously, we've gotten crazy heat, which, you know, peas aren't happy about it, but the peppers love. Got some coneflowers that I bought this year at the neighborhood plant sale. Those are looking happy. Then, this is always an exciting time of year. One of my favorite vegetables, probably maybe the favorite. Almost ready to pick. Maybe 1-2 more days, we'll start getting some beans. So we've got bush beans in the front. That's Provider, and then a couple different. I think this is Vortex, and that's Seychelles, which is a recent AAS winner. Can't remember which is which. I'd have to look at my little stakes, and they're kind of buried right now in all the plant material, but that's looking real good. I always look forward to bean season. Got some rhubarb that we haven't picked, though a neighbor just asked me for some rhubarb, so we may start getting rid of some of that. Tomatoes are tomatoes. Trying to figure out my pruning system. Mostly just taking, you know, anything that's growing towards the ground like that, or that was touching the ground at the base of the plant. I've been trying to clean out. This branch I probably should go ahead and take out. But as you can see, some of our full-size tomatoes setting fruit nicely. We've got cherry tomatoes on a bunch of things. I don't need to show you guys that. Tomatoes are tomatoes. All right. Blackberries, they're kind of bushing out some, getting a little bit more established. We'll see what the fruit tastes like this year. It's not something that we've been particularly enamored with. So again, they may be something destined to get ripped out. See, we've got some green. That's the shade is not gonna. But there you go. Now you can see it. You can see some green berries there. That rhubarb has been picked a little bit. And we got our willows. Those are getting established. Now that I've had issues about feeding stuff out of the garden and reinfecting the rabbit herd, so now the purpose of these may be kind of moot. But for now, I'm just leaving them, letting them see how pretty they are. Not everything has to be functional. You know, like this yarrow, technically it's medicinal. I don't know if I'll ever use it medicinally. We got one cherry off of this sour cherry, very, very tasty, very early, which is nice. We got sweet cherries off of this one, just a handful, but they were tasty. Just picked. They were pretty small, but I just picked some tiny zucchini, and you can see another one. I'll let some of this get bigger before I pick it, but I was excited enough that I picked them at a very, very small stage, and then we'll have a little vegetable medley, you know. So again, more zucchini than we'll need. I already have a second succession planted, so we'll be giving away a lot of that, but I wanted to do a field trial of 2 varieties side by side, then decide which I like better, and then next year I'll probably just grow just the one bed, unless people just love getting free zucchini enough that, you know, we give it away. Cucumbers just started blooming today, so the ones that you can see really well there are I'm pretty sure those are male flowers, but right there we got a female flower ready to open. Marketmore, again, proving to be a very reliable variety. The other variety that I tried, barely growing at all. So in that second succession I showed you over there, that's the only one I planted. And of course I said it was going to be a shorter video, and here I am just jabbering on. Just kind of a, you know, wild sunflower patch, more elderberry. I just put in this stretch of garden bed edging today. Now it's ready to take a break. It's hot, sweaty, need a shower. And we got potatoes totally just sprawling over. A lot of nitrogen in these beds. I don't think I'm gonna grow potatoes in the beds anymore. I'm gonna try out the stacking box method, because I've got a lot of odd corners that should get enough sun, like, you know, right there, stuff, you know, like right there, some of the stuff over in there. I may take out some of the perennials that are, you know, right there in front of the kitchen windows, because we don't really see those very much. And with everything going on, they're not necessarily a showy flower anyways. We can put more of the perennials like in those failed broccoli beds way up there, and other spots like along here where they're prettier, and there could be more of a functional space. That's my thought. We'll see how it works. That's a nice little monarch. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but that one's been visiting or at least a monarch has been visiting for a few days now. Oh, and then over here, let me just show you real quick. This gooseberry, you can just start to see them turning color. I picked a couple, tasted them. They're sweet enough for me. Just a couple that are ready, but you know, in a couple more days this will be ready. I'm pretty sure this is a Hinnomaki. I'm gonna get... Yeah, I can just barely read the tag there. That's a Hinnomaki red. That seems to be the one that works here. And then there's a farmer, a couple, you know, in the next county down that grows gooseberries commercially, and Hinnomaki is definitely his favorite variety as far as yield and taste balance. And yeah, so just sprawling potatoes that are just kind of falling over. We'll see what kind of a harvest we get. I don't know if I planted them deeply enough to hill them enough. Then garlic here, always scapes that you miss. Just cut that off. You know, the leaves just starting to dry back, but you know, nowhere near harvest time yet. We'll just kind of watch them and see. And then just this last area here, I haven't been too aggressive about weeding just because it's easier to see where the edge of the bed is once we cut this grass back and then put the edge in. But I did do some weeding and mulching of these raspberries that are establishing nicely. We are even going to get a little bit of ripe fruit off of the floricane. The little, you know, you get about 12 inches when these are shipped bare root. Normally you only get the primocane crop, if at all. Sometimes the plants that I've planted don't give you anything until the next year. So these seem happy. Good. It's a good spot for them. I mean, we've got this Norway maple up here. The drip line is already all the way out to right above where the raspberries are, but over here, full sun. Over there, full sun. So the bulk of the summer, they're getting quite a bit of daylight in the morning, then shade in the midday, and then sunlight again late in the day. And raspberries in nature, they're an edge species, so they should do well here. They should get just as much sun as they do in the patch, in the original patch. So I'm pretty excited to see how these turn out. A lot of comfrey. I'm just way behind on cutting, but makes the bees happy. The bumblebees especially just seem to love the comfrey flowers. Don't see one right now, but they've been all over them. This cherry tree looks like it's got some sort of a fungal problem because, you know, the fruit's all marked. Some of it's rotting on the tree. So the trouble with orchard crops, and you can see here, this one starting to ripen. It's not going to focus very well. There we go. Just not looking very good. That's the trouble with orcharding, is when you only have a handful of trees, you get a disease. It's really hard to make the investment in chemicals and time and spraying and the learning curve worth it. So honestly, we'll see where they go. If nothing else, they'll feed the wildlife and look pretty. And some of the raspberries that died all the way back to the ground, they're recovered enough that they're starting to put blooms on. So again, we'll see what, or I mean, sorry, blackberries. I meant blackberries. And then this, really cool. I've never, look at how big the blooms on this particular one are. This is huge huge umbels on this elderberry. And that is all for today. So if there's something I kind of skipped over or didn't make sense, just let me know. And of course, I love talking gardens. And everyone have a good day.